Welcome to the Human Upgrade Project, the show where science meets self-optimization. I'm your host, Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and here we break down the real research, real data, and real dosing behind modern biohacking, from compounds and peptides to techniques, devices, lifestyle strategies, and performance protocols. Whether you're exploring longevity molecules, recovery tools, nootropics, metabolic optimization, or cutting-edge wellness tech, this is your trusted source for evidence-based insights, without the hype. Let's unlock human potential, one pathway at a time.
Peptide therapies have become increasingly popular in regenerative medicine and anti-aging circles. One formulation that's generating a lot of attention is the KLOW Peptide blend. Can you explain why this combination of peptides is considered so significant in this field?
Absolutely. KLOW represents a significant advancement because it combines four carefully selected peptides, GHK-Copper, BPC 157, TB-500, and KPV, into a single, pre-blended formulation. This combination addresses multiple biological pathways simultaneously, which is a key advantage over using individual peptides. Rather than requiring researchers or practitioners to stack multiple separate vials, which complicates protocols and increases costs, KLOW provides a streamlined approach to studying and applying holistic tissue repair and regeneration.
What specifically makes this combination of peptides so effective?
The power of KLOW lies in its synergistic effects. Each peptide contributes a complementary mechanism. For example, BPC 157 and GHK-Copper promote angiogenesis and tissue regeneration, while TB-500 reduces fibrosis and facilitates cell migration. Research models have demonstrated that this combination results in faster wound closure, reduced scar formation, and improved mobility, outcomes that are difficult to achieve with any single peptide alone. This multi-pathway approach makes it particularly valuable for studying complex conditions like post-surgical recovery, chronic joint injuries, and even neurodegenerative processes where neuroprotection is needed.
I understand that inflammation plays a major role in many age-related conditions. How does KLOW address this challenge?
Chronic low-grade inflammation, often called inflammaging, is a fundamental driver of diseases like arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, and cardiovascular conditions. The inclusion of KPV in the KLOW blend is particularly important here. KPV specifically targets the NF-kappa B signaling pathway, which controls the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines. By inhibiting this pathway, KPV helps reduce inflammatory cascades without broadly suppressing the immune system. When combined with BPC 157's protective effects on intestinal barriers, KLOW shows significant potential for repairing leaky gut and reducing systemic inflammation, which indirectly supports skin health through the gut-skin axis.
Many people are interested in peptides primarily for their potential anti-aging effects. How does KLOW contribute to longevity and health span?
KLOW is particularly compelling in the longevity field because it addresses several hallmarks of aging simultaneously. GHK-Copper combats oxidative stress and promotes the expression of genes associated with tissue repair and remodeling. TB-500 and BPC 157 support vascular health and prevent fibrotic changes in tissues, while KPV provides resilience against persistent inflammation. Together, these mechanisms support improved collagen production, better mitochondrial function, and reduced tissue degeneration. The result is a formulation that works toward extending health span, healthy, functional years, rather than just lifespan. When used in conjunction with other therapies like pulsed electromagnetic field therapy or photobiomodulation, the effects on cellular repair can be amplified even further.
In what context is KLOW most commonly being explored or applied?
KLOW's versatility is one of its greatest strengths. In athletic and performance contexts, it's being studied for its ability to accelerate recovery from musculoskeletal injuries and reduce training-related inflammation. For aesthetic applications, the GHK-Copper component drives collagen synthesis, leading to improvements in skin elasticity, wrinkle reduction, and hair follicle strength. It also shows promise in immune and gastrointestinal health, particularly for repairing intestinal barriers after antibiotic use or managing inflammatory conditions like IBD. The formulation's broad applicability makes it relevant across multiple research and wellness domains.
Are there any important limitations or considerations that people should be aware of when it comes to KLOW?
Yes, there are important caveats. While the preclinical research and anecdotal clinical experience are compelling, KLOW remains an experimental therapy. The majority of the supporting data comes from animal models, with human evidence largely consisting of smaller trials and observational reports. As with other peptide therapies, there are potential risks such as immune reactions or gastrointestinal side effects if protocols are not carefully managed. Additionally, regulatory agencies like the FDA classify these peptide blends as research compounds only, not approved for therapeutic use. This means that any application requires sourcing from reputable suppliers with verified purity, typically 99% or greater, and adherence to evidence-based protocols.
So, what ultimately makes KLOW stand out among other peptide formulations?
The key distinction is the elegant synergy created by combining these four specific peptides. Rather than treating repair, inflammation, and degeneration as separate problems requiring different interventions, KLOW addresses them as interconnected processes through a single formulation. This approach mirrors the complex, multifaceted nature of biological healing and aging. It represents a shift from isolated single-target therapies to comprehensive systems-level interventions. For researchers, practitioners, and serious enthusiasts, KLOW offers a powerful tool for exploring how targeted molecular signaling can bridge acute recovery with long-term biological optimization, helping to achieve not just extended lifespan, but improved quality of life throughout those years.
That's a compelling perspective. It sounds like KLOW represents an important step forward in developing more comprehensive approaches to tissue repair and age-related decline.
Precisely. By integrating multiple complementary mechanisms into one formulation, KLOW provides a more complete framework for addressing the underlying processes that drive both injury recovery and the progressive decline associated with aging. It's an example of how peptide therapy is evolving from fragmented, single-agent approaches to more sophisticated, multidimensional strategies.
For those who are considering using the KLOW peptide blend, particularly the 80 milligram formulation, what is the recommended approach to dosing this product?
Dosing the KLOW 80 milligram blend requires careful reconstitution and a structured administration protocol. The blend typically consists of 50 milligram GHK copper, 10 milligram BPC 157, 10 milligram TB-500, and 10 milligram KPV. The most common research protocol involves reconstituting the entire 80 milligram vial with 3 milliliters of a bacteriostatic water, which creates a concentration of 26,667 micrograms per milliliter.
Once reconstituted, what would be the typical dosing schedule for research purposes?
The dosing protocol is to administer between 2,000 and 3,000 micrograms of the total KLOW blend once daily. Using the reconstitution concentration of 26.7 milligrams per milliliter, this translates to injecting 7 to 11 units if reconstituted in 3 milliliters. For example, a 2,666 microgram dose would require drawing 10 units on a U-100 insulin syringe, or 0.01 milliliter.
Are there specific guidelines regarding timing, administration method, and duration of use?
Subcutaneous injection is the primary administration method, typically administered in the abdominal area or near the site of intended effect. The timing of doses can be adjusted based on the research objectives. Morning dosing alone is common for general wellness and anti-aging applications, while twice-daily dosing, morning and late afternoon, is often preferred for injury repair and more aggressive inflammatory protocols. The typical duration of use is 6 to 8 weeks, followed by a minimum 4-week break. This cycling approach helps prevent potential receptor downregulation and allows for assessment of sustained effects. Some protocols extend to 12 weeks of continuous use, followed by a 6 to 8 week break, particularly for chronic conditions requiring extended intervention.
What are the practical considerations for reconstitution and storage that researchers should follow?
Proper reconstitution is critical. The 80 milligram vial should be reconstituted with exactly 3 milliliters of bacteriostatic water to maintain the standard concentration. The vial should be gently rolled between the hands rather than vigorously shaken to avoid damaging the peptide structure. Once reconstituted, the solution should be stored refrigerated at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius and is stable for approximately 30 days. Any unused portion beyond this time frame should be discarded. Multiple dose vials should be handled with strict aseptic technique, including the use of alcohol swabs for both vial septa and syringe preparation. Researchers should avoid excessive needle punctures of the vial stopper to minimize contamination risk.
Are there any modifications to the standard protocol based on specific research applications?
Yes, dosing can be tailored based on the primary objectives. For acute injury repair or post-surgical applications, researchers often initiate treatment at the higher end of the dosing range. 2,666 micrograms daily, split into 2 doses, for the first 4 to 6 weeks, followed by a maintenance dose of 2,000 to 2,666 micrograms daily. For general wellness, anti-aging, or inflammatory management, a more moderate approach of 1,333 to 2,666 micrograms once daily for 8 weeks is typically sufficient. It is also common to begin with a lower dose of approximately 650 micrograms daily for the first 7 to 10 days, regardless of the intended application. This allows for evaluation of individual response and helps identify any potential sensitivity to the formulation.
What should researchers consider regarding dose escalation and monitoring during a protocol?
Dose escalation should be gradual and based on individual response and tolerance. If a dose of 650 micrograms once daily is well tolerated after the first week, researchers may elect to increase to 1,333 to 2,666 micrograms daily as a split dose, or maintain the single daily dose, depending on the treatment objectives. The principle is to use the lowest effective dose that produces the desired research outcomes. Monitoring during a protocol should include regular assessment of the primary research endpoints, such as reduction in inflammation markers, improvement in tissue repair, or enhancement of other relevant physiological parameters. Periodic breaks every 6 to 12 weeks are recommended to evaluate sustained effects and prevent potential adaptation.
To summarize, what would be the most straightforward dosing protocol for someone beginning research with the KLOW 80 milligram blend?
The most commonly recommended starting protocol would be as follows. Reconstitute the 80 milligram vial with 3 milliliters bacteriostatic water, resulting in a concentration of 27 milligrams per milliliter. Begin with 1,333 micrograms, 5 units on an insulin syringe, administered subcutaneously once daily for the first week. If well tolerated, increase to 2,666 micrograms once daily for weeks 2 through 8. For applications requiring more intensive intervention, increase to 3,000 micrograms daily after establishing tolerance. Administer for 6 to 8 weeks, followed by a minimum 4-week break, after which the protocol may be repeated if continued research is warranted. This approach allows for appropriate dose titration based on observed response and tolerance.
That provides a clear framework for implementing a KLOW dosing protocol. Are there any final considerations regarding preparation or administration that researchers should keep in mind?
The primary considerations are maintaining proper reconstitution technique, ensuring aseptic handling procedures, and adhering to the recommended cycling schedule. Consistent daily administration at approximately the same time, combined with record keeping of dosing and observed outcomes, will provide the most reliable data regarding the formulation's effects. As with any research compound, maintaining detailed documentation of preparation, administration, and response is essential for reproducible and scientifically valid results. Thanks for listening to the Human Upgrade Project. If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready to elevate their biology. Make sure to follow the show for weekly deep dives into peptides, protocols, devices, lifestyle strategies, and the science of high-performance longevity. Until next time, stay curious, stay optimized, and stay 10x.